This is Kunjed Gyalpo, chapter 23, titled Beyond Struggle and Achievement. This is translated by Jim Valby. Did a really great job. It's from the text Ornament of the State of Samantabhadra, which is a very, very long, detailed commentary on absolutely everything in this text. And so if you're interested in it, there is an extensive explanation that accompanies this. Here is ours. So it says, Then the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, gave this lung teaching that there is no object to see. And the Dharmakaya aspect, Samantabhadra, says, Hey, Mahasattva, listen. Because these phenomena, however they appear, are your pure perfect presence. There does not exist some object to see. That makes logical sense, right? Very sensible. If awareness is not an object, and phenomena are awareness, well, then phenomena can't really be objects. So it says, because presence is non-conceptual, there is absolute equality. The understanding of this state of space is assigned the name yoga. Yeah, they say understanding. Yoga here is like a union, the abiding in this state of space. Abiding as this space, as this presence. That is doing the yoga. So it says, do not create concepts about the self-luminosity of what appears to the five sense organs. And why? First of all, if concepts do arise, concepts are not a contradiction. They don't ruin awareness, or they're not blemishes on awareness. They're okay. It's just that when concepts arise, it means that the conceptual mind is kind of staring at them. It gets hooked into them. When it does that, it kind of enters a dream within a dream. And then on the basis of that, it starts creating all these ideas and ruminations. And that's the basis of samsara. So creating concepts about phenomena is creating concepts about awareness. It's okay to do that, but it doesn't help in any possible way. And it does cause all that craving, all that grasping. To be attracted to something. Maybe you can notice this, When you're attracted to an object, it's always conceptually. There's an abstraction of the thing that you're attracted to. And then on the basis of that abstraction, the attraction is produced. Without that abstraction, it's kind of equal. There's an evenness there that just doesn't allow for that pulling into it. So there's no basis for the attraction to arise. This is like that emotional hooking kind of attraction, right? Without that abstraction, it's even. It's somatically felt to be even. And it's on the basis of those abstractions that the conceptual mind comes up with thoughts, ideas, creates an entire world that you then inhabit. This samsaric existence. Essentially a creation. And so when those concepts are allowed to be, they subside a little bit. What that means is that the environment is allowed to relax. That's what relaxing the environment is. These concepts, because they don't have a basis, they fade away eventually. Sooner or later, they all fade away. If there isn't production creating new concepts, then there's just an evenness. There's freedom in the environment. You have liberated the environment. You can say it in that way. And yeah, Leo's even saying that he noticed there has to be a me for there to be abstraction, for me to abstract things. Yeah. There has to be someone doing the abstracting. The abstractions even have a reference point, you know? They're on the basis of the self, generally. That's why they always relate to you. Is it nice weather, bad weather? How do I feel about that? The weather isn't about you. Yeah, nice. So, Dago's having a bad reaction to abstractions. My allergies agree. That is a story. So, yeah, don't create concepts about awareness. But if you do, let them be. So it says, abiding in the state of space. Hatha Yoga Dzogchen practitioners abide in just thatness. Whether the meaning is examined with words and syllables, or the meaning is not examined with words and syllables, Hatha Yoga practitioners abide in the just thatness of non-conceptual equality. Thus, they abide in the state of space. Yeah, see, so just like we said, whether you're making concepts here called words or syllables, or whether you're not doing that, you abide as awareness, no matter what is happening. So what this means is that there is no special, concept smacking practice. You don't need to enumerate concepts and then go whack them out, hit them down, destroy them, purify them. None of that stuff. Just familiarizing with awareness itself. Sufficient for everything. So it says, this meaning beyond concepts primordially abides like space. Thus he spoke. So from effortless perfection, this concludes the 23rd chapter, which explains the state of space beyond objects to see. Pretty clear, right? If there are any questions or you want to comment, please jump in. Yeah, let's read another one. That was very brief. Leo is suggesting whacking concepts with an iron rod. Well, you can try it and report back. I don't think you will like it. No, whacking concepts is like arguing with a toddler, where you get on the toddler's level. Now you're arguing like a toddler, and then you're both essentially toddlers together. I have nephews and such. So you kind of enter the world of concepts in order to purify these concepts. In order to do that, it's based on this fundamental ignorance. So the spaciousness, the actual remedy, is lost. All right, chapter 24, beyond cause and effect. So then, the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, explained this chapter about the principle of symbols, the Lung teaching of perfection beyond actions. Hey, Mahasattva, listen. Here is the explanation of the principle of presence itself, Samantabhadra. When the All-Creator abides in pure perfect presence, he abides in the source of all phenomena. Understanding that, a person is the all-creating monarch. Mm. So you see, it says many times. Some people think that this is a play about some god, but see, it says very explicitly here, the person who recognizes pure perfect presence is the all creating monarch. So that's you. You are the all creating monarch. You as awareness. It says the all creating monarch is beyond change. Thus, a person who recognizes is beyond change. That means that now, this is beyond change. This is a chapter about karma. Karma is the language of change, of causes and effects. Awareness is not an effect. Nothing produced it. Awareness does not create effects. It does not operate as a cause. Because all phenomena have already been established in this text as awareness itself. Many chapters we read on this. They are not actually produced. There is no change within awareness when a phenomenon is said to arise. So, what is arising? Well, maybe they'll tell us. But this is one of the ways to point yourself out. Notice what doesn't change in your experience. With eyes open, eyes closed, something is the same. When there's a large amount of pain, when there's peace, something is the same. When you're asleep, when you're conscious, in the daytime, something is the same. You can notice this. There's a constancy no matter what the experience is. And when you recognize that, it means that you don't need a bias toward any particular experience because the basis doesn't require any creation. It's always the same. That's so freeing, not having to do anything to produce a state of meditation, a state of bliss. You can drop all that stuff. You can be free from that. Those are burdens, even if they're pleasant. So it says, when the all creator abides in Dharmakaya, he abides beyond the concepts of object and subject. The state beyond object and subject never changes. When the all creator abides in Sambhogakaya, he enjoys the five sense pleasures and abides in the perfection of desires. The all, yeah, go ahead.
That's where what Seth was bringing up there, and what's kind of a theme throughout Dzogchen, and I think introduced also Asman Gagde versus the ornament of the mind, or the appearances of the mind. Um, well, actually, that might relate to Nirmanakaya more, but yeah, you see this idea that here that we get to a point where we can actually, there's an enjoyment, there's a peace, right? We need to realize that, because typically we only see one side of the coin, the suffering, and suffering healing up and things like that. We don't see that as it heals up, there's a great peace, a great enjoyment there. And I think that's a great thing that they mention, the play, the enjoyment.
Oh, thanks, Dawai. Yes, Sambhogakaya, for everyone, translates as the perfect enjoyment body. And it's the one, doing all the rainbow painting. Why do this painting if it's not enjoyed? So it says, when the All Creator abides as Nirmanakaya manifestations, at the precise time for education with appropriate methods, he emanates whichever Nirmanakaya forms are appropriate for whatever disciples, and he abides in the perfection of appropriate methods. Yeah, we read a different chapter all about that. So it says, while the all-creator abides beyond change in the three times, all phenomena are symbols with the characteristic of space. Mm. The characteristic of space is just thatness. The characteristic of the three kayas is just thatness. All phenomena are just thatness. No phenomenon, however it manifests, ever newly produces the authentic state. I love this point. One way of expressing this that I've found just helpful for me has been, when Dawai reads The Way of Abiding, we have these four great Dzogchen samayas. And so, because, normally it's applied to awareness, but all phenomena don't really differ from awareness. They are made of awareness without conceptually reducing that. A phenomenon is ineffable. Whatever words are used to express that phenomenon are not actually that phenomenon. A phenomenon is open. There is no actual boundary around the phenomenon that you can find. If there's a feeling of a boundary, you can examine it and it will vanish. There is no limit to a phenomenon. Phenomenon is made of presence. It's completely saturated by that presence. It is known by means of that presence. And the phenomenon has no characteristics, no enduring characteristics. So there's a great evenness to all the phenomena. So this kind of analysis of the four great samayas applies to every perception. All perceptions taken together are the same expression. So there's no need to get away from them. You don't need to suppress phenomena. For me, that's really beautiful. You're looking at awareness. You are entirely suffused by awareness. Whatever happens is happening by means of awareness for you as a teaching, expressing its own nature. Then when the teachings stop, just abiding. Isn't that peace? So it says, earlier travel with searching or practice never later arrives. Yeah, if you set up a goal, if this goal is true freedom, if freedom is your goal, then it will never be accomplished by attempting to achieve it. Freedom is the default. It's only veiled. It's discovered by non-doing. Earlier application, it says, never later accomplishes. Earlier struggle and effort never later realize. All phenomena are the authentic state which never changes into something else. Thus he spoke. So from the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, this concludes chapter 24 about the Lung teaching that effortless perfection is never changed by symbols. So that has negated all karma, all cause and effect. Seth is asking, is there a distinction between characteristic and meaning? Probably not. Characteristic is like a property. So, for example, when a phenomenon arises, it can be compounded. So, I don't know, you're all looking at some device. The device has a color, right? That color seems to be a property of an object. And that's kind of a mashing together of multiple things. To say that it has no characteristic is to say that there is no object on which this property color could be hung, like a Christmas ornament or something like that. They are independent. The arising of the color, the arising of whatever, they are independent phenomena. And you know, meaning tends to have the connotation of like telling a story about something. Like there's been an appearance and then it was elaborated upon. It was seized objectively. On the basis of that objective seizing, a story is created about it. The story is believed, and then consequences, rumination, knowledge of cause and effect. And one of the Zen translators, I think it was Thomas Cleary, but I'm not sure, had a really lovely translation of the Fox Koan, where he translated the view there as not blind to karma. I've always thought that was really an apt way of saying it. So to not dismiss karma, you see these appearances. Knowledge of cause and effect arises. You don't need to get rid of that. That is just another phenomenon. The past is a phenomenon. The future is a phenomenon. Relations are phenomena. And as we just read, these are awareness. They are made of awareness. So rather than trying to fight karma intellectually, what this chapter has basically done is absorb the entirety of karma into awareness. It has been mingled with space. Having been mingled, it doesn't differ. And then you leave it alone. Okay. Oh, Yashi quotes Dawai, "You are not aware, aware is you." Oh, yeah, from one of the recent transcriptions. I think Masam did that one. Or Maki. I don't want to get it wrong. Well, very nice. Any comments, questions, challenges? Everyone just accepts that karma doesn't exist. No problem. Oh, Choku's saying the quote, "Solid is not what you think it is. It's what you think it is." I remember that one. That was clever. Yeah, right, Seth? It's good. Well, great. This is a good stopping point. Any final words? Hand gestures? A thumbs up. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Should teach Elliot that next time.
Are you okay to host tomorrow and you said Tuesday or no?
Not Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow would
Okay.
be the last one.
Okay, I just wanted to give everybody a chance, including myself, to hang out with you before you get settled in a new place. So I want, as long as you don't mind, I think it'd be nice if you hosted tomorrow too.
Oh, sure.
All right, nice session. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Dawai. Yeah, and I really also enjoyed it when you uh, jump in during the readings and the session. Feels
That
collaborative.
that's why I do it.
For my enjoyment. Thank you.
Well, I noticed that you're not intimidated at all. You just keep on in your own space, and it's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You actually welcome the friendship, and I find that admirable. We have been super lucky, and just like Ropa, people are getting teachings from you on how to liberate their mind. So I'm so happy with everything you've done. It feels like you've just settled right into perfection, and perhaps continuing. I mean, when you were speaking earlier, I was like, wow, listen to him on another level with it.
Sometimes I hear the things I say and I have no idea what I'm saying, and the voice that used to judge that has gone away.
You've done really great, Dorje Lekpa. Way to go.
Oh, thank you, Dawei.
Deep bow.
For the record, I learned essentially everything from Dawei, so all credit to him.
And I learned it from the dogs, so all credit to them.
So let's end this session with a dedication. So, right now in this presence, there are beings that are suffering. Any merit, any goodness we may have generated here today, we can give it all to them and be with them in a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone.